What is up, YouTube? Welcome to SmackNPie podcast. This episode is gonna be so interesting. Welcome to episode 4. I don't know episode 3. Waru said this is gonna be a reboot podcast. I don't look. The point is, welcome to SmackNPie podcast. Today is a really special episode, not because we're talking about The Walking Dead episode 3, but we'll also got couple of really cool, fantastic people. You can say guests here, and we're just gonna go through all of them. We're gonna ask who they are, introduce them to the community, whatever. So, like I said before, it's gonna be an interesting episode. So make sure to watch till the end, and let's get this thing going. So, today's guests. This is the first time I'm doing so. I apologize if there are, I lack social skills. I need help. So, we're gonna start with my boy, the legend, Inferno Kun. Introduce yourself to the world.
Oh, hey, I'm Inferno Kun. I have a channel called Inferno Kun, I guess.
Yeah.
And there you can find a bunch of awesome content that's not about Life is Strange, but it's about Walking Dead.
Cool. Link will be in description. You can check him out. He's the OG in the Walking Dead community. If you like to watch Walking Dead content, I'm pretty sure you heard about him. So yeah, thank you so much for giving your time. This is not an outro, by the way. This is intro. Then we got British Inferno. People like to call him British Inferno Con. And yeah, we'll see if he's really on that level. Sif, introduce yourself to the world.
Hello, I am SIF. And of course, I got a channel called SIF Masri, not the British Inferno Kun. However, I do have better content than Inferno Kun, and it's in a British voice, so it is better in my opinion. However, be sure to check it out. Link in there.
Of course. Link will be in description. You can check them out. And yeah, the third one, I don't think I have to introduce. We can just start this whole thing. I don't think I have to introduce Waru because. Well, why not? Let's just keep going. We got a couple of notes here that we're gonna work with, and we're gonna talk about episode 3, what people think about episode 3, final season ending, whatever. So we're gonna just go through simply. You can also leave your thoughts about episode 3 in the comments down below. Just say it. So to start off, all right, I'm gonna come quickly to Inferno and all of you in just a second, but just to give you a backstory. Episode 3, when we made a video on our channel, you can watch it out. We said that episode 3 was by far one of the best episodes in the entirety of the Walking Dead series, Telltale series. Now that's what I think. That's what we think at SmackNPie. I'm gonna take the same question and I'm gonna move to Inferno. What do you think about episode 3? I know you did your podcast as well. Unfortunately, I could make it to that podcast. But what do you think about episode 3 on a scale 1 to 10, and why?
Don't worry, we had the other half while we were there. But anyways, episode 3, pretty great episode. Lots of things they did correct in that episode that really made it great in terms of the branching, and it was just well paced. Lots of action, lots of twists and turns in the episode that made it really enjoyable. And I really do just like how it all turned out as well, with them actually, having, I guess, 75% of Telltale's work there and still coming out in such great quality. It was just really great. So overall, it's one of my favorite episodes in the entire series. 10 out of 10 from me. I didn't really have any negatives that I remember, but it was just a solid experience.
Great. Fantastic. Sif, British Inferno Kun, what do you think about episode 3 on a scale 1 to 10, and why?
I mean, I'd have to agree with American SIF in my opinion. I thought it was a great episode. I thought it was a solid experience overall. Pacing was great. I'd say in episode 2 that was a bit of a problem in my opinion. In episode 1, not so much because it was the starting episode. Episode 2 kind of felt slow. The episode 3 really made up for the slow pace that we had in the previous 2 episodes. Once again, I'd have to agree with American SIF. I don't think there was any negatives really that I found to be bugging me out. I thought it was a solid experience, pace, great character development, great acting, all that you can ask for in an episode. So if you ask me to put on a scale of 1 to 10, probably a solid 9 out of 10, 9.5 even, because, again, a 10 is kind of hard, but maybe we'll see that in episode 4.
Cool. Anyways, looks like someone betrayed us. Since we lost one of our guests tonight in this podcast, we're gonna move on to the next topic that I really found it interesting that they added this whole situation with. I'm gonna come to that in just a second, but I really found it interesting that they added this whole thing, and then the reaction from the community was also interesting. I'm obviously talking about James and his sexuality, which if you don't know by now is that James is gay, of course. Yay. why not? Why not add any more gay character? Of course, we're lacking those. Now, again, no hate to gay characters. There's nothing wrong with that. But I found it interesting that out of nowhere, because we met James in episode 2, there was no sign of that whole thing before, but they specifically added here. Now, I personally think that they added to just stop the community of, shipping Clementine with James. There could be more than that. They could have, like, maybe they had plans for James being gay from the start, but he's been kind of sort of focal point of episode 3 in some way, and I found it really interesting that they added that specific thing. But most importantly, the reaction to all of this was really interesting. Now, Jeff or Inferno, do you think that James being gay was kind of sort of needed in this situation, or was it unnecessary? Why do you think they did the whole thing? And even if you think that, okay, that's fine, where does this whole thing stands in this entire story plot? Does it give anything to the ongoing story, or was just blah? What do you think about this?
I don't want to say it wasn't necessary or anything, but I don't think that, it kind of fit like the whole him having a boyfriend thing and just like the way he was doing things. And it just made sense for his character, but specifically just like instead of, going for a girlfriend or boyfriend, it doesn't really matter which one, I guess. But it just kind of felt like, because, the community, some people in the community thinking that, oh wait, they're making everybody gay. And, looking at that, we have Clementine, Minerva, Violet, and now we have James. Which, that's a lot of...
Who knows, maybe AJ, like, by the end of final season, he becomes gay with, I don't know, 10? Really? Nah, that's okay.
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah, but,
He's never said it like that.
But, I'm all for it. It doesn't really ruin anything for real.
Okay.
He's not really, doing anything like forcing it. He's just said, hey, this was my boyfriend, and that was it. So I don't think it really ruins anything. I don't think it was unnecessary. I think it's just there, which is okay for me.
Okay, like it's just there doing absolutely nothing. I still, to this day, think that it was totally unnecessary. But hey, just me. Sif, British Inferno Con, please explain us what American Inferno said in British way, please.
Alright, okay, so I can't exactly echo what Inferno King said, but I believe it was totally unnecessary. It did nothing to the story, maybe for 1 or 2 lines, but why do you need to specify that a teenager is gay in the zombie apocalypse? It makes no sense to me. Why they would include it? I'm already a bit iffy with having gay characters in a game for the sake of them being gay. I'm not trying to get too political, but of course, it was to be honest, I find it a bit like almost as ridiculous as Javier being bisexual. If it doesn't need to be mentioned or included, then don't include it into the game. It does nothing to the game.
Cool.
I understand, the whole equality thing. I'm all for equality, but just don't promote through a political agenda in a game. It did nothing to the story, so is it necessary? No. What should have been included? No. Do I really care? No.
Just to clarify everything, we're not saying that being gay is like we hate that or whatever. It's just we're just specifically talking about we're talking about specifically game in this episode 3 in this small context, so don't take our words out of context. I agree with Sif. Totally unnecessary. Really was absolutely like, when I heard that, I was like, is that a thing? Okay, cool, I guess, but it doesn't do anything to the ongoing story, ongoing plot, especially when they had it so like well done writing with James' character of interesting and this like whole balance between people and walkers and whatever. I don't know. It was just interesting to bring it up, and I'm really glad that I talked about it now that I heard opinions from you too as well. So yeah, that's a thing. Moving on, probably the most controversial thing. Not controversial, but it was alright, and that was Minerva. Her character and her so-called predictable betrayal to Violet and the boarding school kids. Now to this day Minerva is still we have the I got the same thingy for Minerva to this day, and I even let's okay wait if she's alive by episode 4, I strongly believe that we're gonna have some sort of redemption arc thingy, some sort of like that, but that's besides the point. What's on the point is that people are still saying that it was so pointless of her betraying the entire episode, and even to the end she was staying loyal to Delta. Now, do you think that her whole character that they showed in episode 3, even in the end, was just a waste of what could have been a potential character, what could have been the best character in episode 3, if she if the odds were different, if she was betrayed first and then we kind of talked her out of the way, and she might have helped us beating Lily, whatever. And do you think Minerva character was wasted in episode 3? And second, do you think if she's alive, she will have like a redemption story in episode 4? What do you think, Inferno?
I feel like if they really wanted, like, you did not like her. That's how I felt. I did not like her very much.
Okay.
I kind of understand where she was going at, because it's kind of like a little bit weird, because it was a little bit hypocritical. She was like, "Hey, if you come here, you'll be safe." Meanwhile, I just fucking came here, killed my sister.
Oh,
Massive
good point.
hypocrite in
Good
this
point.
episode.
Good point.
And her methods, I don't understand them, and I don't like, you're trying to understand her point of view, but she just keeps on going the opposite way about that. And I kind of like it in a way,
Mhm.
in the way that if you were trying to make her not likable, but if you want us to kind of redeem her, just be like, "Hey, this is wrong," then I feel like we're way past that, because she did so much that is wrong. So that's what I feel about Minerva.
Cool, cool. So,
All right, guys, I'm back.
oh yeah, it took you a while.
Oh.
Anyways, I'm gonna come to you, Varn, in just a second. But Inferno,
of
do you think if they bring up like a redemption kind of story, do you think like you can, from Clementine's perspective, you can forgive her in that context?
I'm gonna exile her and 10 from school.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Well,
I
I know 10 wants to go with her. I bet he would.
I see you're on some okay, anyways. Yeah, interesting nonetheless. You bring up some good points. British Inferno Con, please explain what American Inferno said.
Okay, so I guess I do agree with Anakin with a lot of these points. Really do like the character though. Like from a narrative point of view, I do like the character. Obviously, in game, I don't really like her. However, from a narrative point of view, I don't think it was a bad idea to have a brainwashed character. I don't think we've had a brainwashed character in a long time, or in ever really. She had a very different vibe to her character, much like Violet and Lewis, I suppose you could say. The brainwash scenario narrative could have been very interesting. So I think from a narrative point of view, I think she was a great character. Obviously, in terms of the in-game self, she wasn't really the best character in my opinion.
It would be interesting to see her redemption story in episode 4. That is, if there is anything planned for her in episode 4. I see. Okay, Waru, now that you're back, Minerva. Minerva is because I still see that there is a redemption story for her coming up in episode 4. But do you think that they wasted a potential character by keep on, that whole she's betraying because she's loyal to Delta, the whole thingy? Do you think that they wasted her character? And second point is, if she's alive by episode 4, will there be a redemption story for her? What do you think?
All right, so to talk about, I mean, yeah, she was evil, but it's better than her just going, I guess, with.
Yeah, that's it.
Why is he laughing?
I don't know.
Oh,
all right, Waru, start over. Say something, please, about Minerva. Just anything.
Pizza. All right, Minerva's cool. Let's move on.
Moving on. The next topic I really wanted to talk about was AJ. Literally, we know the final season is kind of revolving around AJ. How what you teach him and how you teach him is gonna, your choice is basically gonna shape what he becomes or whatever, the whole thingy. But do you think that because they focused so much on AJ, they kind of wasted this, the potential characters such as Omar, Asim? Listen, AJ, he's cool and all, definitely, felt a lot proud of him after ending episode 3. But do you think because of AJ, they kind of messed up the other potential characters? And what do you think about AJ just in general from episode 3, Inferno?
AJ, episode 3. I liked what we got from him in episode 3. I'm hoping, or obviously it will, but AJ is going to be big focus in episode 4, and I feel like episode 3 definitely set the path onto what's going to happen in episode 4, revolving around AJ, whether or not something happens revolving around that in choice, how that affects him as a character mentally, and whether or not he feels things will be right or wrong. So I'm interested to see how they play that out in episode 4. So overall, definitely enjoyed AJ in this episode. He was definitely a spotlight character for me.
Do you think that they like I said, like they wasted the other characters because they focused a lot on AJ?
I don't think so. I think they could have definitely threw in some time for 10 there, because 10, he didn't get as much as I would have expected from episode 3. It could still happen in episode 4, because he kind of had that ending little scene there. But I feel like we'll have to see what happens from 10. I feel like everybody else had a fair amount. Looking at Minerva, looking at, I guess, James, they had great character development as well. So I don't think that they really sacrificed anyone else's development for AJ, unless you mean like a Sam and Omar. Pretty much, they kind of solidified themselves as just being not the important characters yet, but we'll see about that, except for 10 so far.
You blame them because it's all about the writers. I mean, it's all on the writers. They kind of started the whole character development thing from the first episode about on Omar and Asim, and now they're at the point they're kind of wasted. I don't know, but it's a thing nonetheless. But yeah, AJ. One more thing I want to ask about AJ to you, Inferno, is you see in the ending where when you choose to shoot Lily, he kind of kept on going. Do you think that what James, was scared about he's gonna change? Do you think is there gonna be a major change in his character after that whole ending?
I really, really, really hope so. So everybody in my comment section that told me I made a bad choice and realized they made a bad choice. Okay.
Same here. People call it bad ending. I don't know why. I mean, you're shooting villain. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to kill them. What do you think, British Inferno?
Pretty much everything that Inferno can said, I do have to agree with. If I were to expand on something, it'd have to be 10. 10's character development does need more, in my opinion, especially with him being such a unique character with this scar face all over the side of his head. We got a lot of information, a lot of hints saying that we're going to be knowing more about 10 in episode 3. And to be honest, I thought we were going to get more about 10 during the party scene, after Lewis or Violet tell you their past. It was a perfect opportunity for 10 to actually say why he got that scar or how did it come about, etc. Maybe AJ mentions it like, 10, why did you get that scar? And then Clementine could be like, oh, don't say that, that's rude. And then he actually opens to you and says, I had this from birth, or I got this because of that. That would have been such a perfect opportunity to actually increase Ten's character.
Cool.
I'll see.
Oh my god.
All right, cool. That's interesting points both of you made about Tennessee. Anyone found it interesting or funny that when 10 had the chance to blast that one girl with the gun and he didn't, and when AJ got that gun, he was all like, "Yo, shoot her, or you can't let her kill anyone." Did anyone found it interesting? Like, Saka, when you had the chance, why didn't you do anything, and now you're gonna tell us what to do? Freak out of here, Waru. What do you think about this?
Man, I could kill her, but I'm scared to do it. But AJ, he's more of a savage, so.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's all I needed from you anyway. AJ's a savage. That's all. The next point I want to talk about, it's about the ending. The endings, or should I say the endings? So quote unquote, we got two endings where one you kill Lily, and the other ending where people say, people call this the other where James get killed. People say that
Yikes.
James getting killed is the good ending, and you shooting Lily is the bad ending, which doesn't really make any sense. But we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about branching for episode 4. You see, the writers, they've been saying over and over again that the branching for the final season is on point, whatever, and there's a lot of, your choices actually matters and things change. That we've seen in episode 3, a lot of improvement from branching perspective. But and I know Sif is gonna agree with me on this one, endings, whatever, where you kill Lily or not, it's not gonna matter in episode 4, because remember, the ship blew up. So the person you killed and the person you didn't kill, both of them are gonna be dead. It's not gonna change anything. But however, do you think there's a possibility of the other person being alive, the one you didn't kill? And if so, what's their potential role in episode 4? Like, what could be their potential, like, let's say Lily's role after all of this mess in episode 4, James' role after all of this in episode 4. What do you think about this? Inferno, let's start with you.
I have a rebuttal to that whole James and Lily thing. Okay, so I remember Kent Muddle, the director of this season, he said that he wasn't very happy with how previous writers handled determinate characters in season 2, just to like like Sarah and Nick. They don't believe that you should save a character moments later for them to actually go ahead and die. And that was a huge, problem that we had, that, we saved Sarah and then moments later she dies. So
Yep.
they've taken that into account this time. That's why I do not believe that if James or Lily dies, they're not going to just, die outright. It's kind of difficult to think about because Lily, who is like a villain character that you kind of want her to die now.
Yeah.
If she doesn't die, you kind of be like a little bit,
Exactly.
But I'm not entirely sure about their role in the episode. I'm not entirely sure about how that will play out. I feel like James would be very angry, and some people are saying that he's going to become like a villain, but I don't think
no.
No, I don't think that.
I mean, I can definitely see it. I can definitely see James becoming the villain after Lily, whatever. I can definitely see that happening.
Not really, because like you kill Lily, like that would make James go, "All right, I have to stop you guys." I'm just like, what?
I mean, why not? The question you can throw here, why not?
That would be stupid writing.
Just go and check the endings stats, the whole player choice. You'll see what, the James last line. It's really interesting of what it says. But yeah, it's interesting nonetheless. British Inferno, Khan, what do you think about this?
Definitely. I was actually going to mention this thing. I do see them, actually taking the time with each determinate characters, having some sort of different scenes, because once again, as we know, Lily and James have two different personalities. So of course we're going to get a lot of different dialogues. Hopefully it feels different and actually tailored to our experience. I wouldn't be so sad whenever they die, because of course episode 4, the story will just progress regardless of what you do. It's going to progress so quick. So of course these determinate characters are going to have to somewhere or in some time of the episode just be put down regardless. So yes, I do have high hopes for these determinate characters, because if you think about it, we haven't really had any determinate characters this season. So maybe they have been saving all the work for these two.
I want to add to that real quick. They absolutely have to do that Batman Enemy Within thing, where there's like 2 different episodes. They have.
100%. They have to. This is their last chance. This is the only. This is the best thing. This is the gold right here. If they didn't pick it up, it's gonna be such a waste. But yeah. Anyways, before I get to the final season ending and what do you guys think about all of this, I want to talk about one more thing, because it's not that we're justifying someone's actions or anything. I just want to hear opinions, other people's opinions of this. Violet, a whole situation when she was in the prison. Why do you think they went with this route? Why do you think they added the whole Violet getting, kind of sort of brainwashed? And even after when, Clementine was kind of like getting out of the prison, the whole thing, he was unlocking the door or whatever, she kind of stopped her and said, I'm not gonna let you get them all killed or whatever. Why do you think they went with this route specifically? Because in the opposite playthrough, they cut Lewis's tongue, so you would expect that, okay, Violet is gonna get injured, brutally injured or something, but no, they went with this route. Why do you think?
For being mad?
Yeah, why do you think they added this? They went with this route. Why do you think it's a thing?
Maybe to show how different they are, because with Lewis, because of him being a chatterbox, I guess, he's now broken.
I believe there's like deeper aspects to it, other than you can't do mean things to female. No, I'm joking. But
what?
I think there's
what?
You can't hurt the females, man. No, okay. You can't hurt the females. You can't maim females. That's mean. Can't do that. But
I mean, we know that. Why that was so innocent.
There's deeper aspects to it. I believe looking at Lewis. Okay, Lewis, he loses his tongue, and the one thing that he wanted to do was be a singer. He can no longer do that, which is very important there. Like a deeper aspect to that. Looking at Violet, okay, she has, I wouldn't say a fear, but she doesn't like, putting her trust into somebody and then lead to being abandoned, and that was what happened to her.
Alright guys, that should do it for today's video. Now, a whole part, like 20 minutes audio is just gone. You cannot hear a single word because of OBS. Thanks OBS. But anyways, I want to give a huge shout out to Inferno, Sif Masri, and Evaru for joining the podcast. Their channel links will be in description. Go and subscribe to them. Show them some support, some love. I'll be doing collabs with them, normal collabs, professional collabs soon. Regardless, that's pretty much it for today's podcast video. Make sure to give this video a big like if you enjoyed, and make sure to subscribe with the notifications on to become an official member of SmackNPie. I'm Smack, and until next time, take care of yourself and your family, stay humble and be grateful, and peace.